We will introduce today the concept of strategic thinking and we will discuss why it is pivotal for medical affairs teams and how they can integrate it in their activities. So, let's get started. Let's start first by defining strategic thinking. Strategic thinking is a cognitive process that involves the ability to analyze complex situations, anticipate future trends, and make informed decisions that align with long term goals and objectives. In fact, it's a process that goes beyond day to day operations and focuses on developing a broader vision and direction for an organization or a specific department like medical affairs. Strategic thinking is very important for medical affairs colleagues working in the pharmaceutical industry because it enables them to be proactive, innovative, and forward looking. It also allows them to navigate uncertainties and make well informed choices in a very rapidly evolving healthcare landscape. So, what do we mean when we say strategic thinking is a cognitive process? A cognitive process means a process that can process information, remember data, and solve problems. This encompasses a range of functions, including perceiving, remembering, thinking, problem solving, and finally, language acquisition. When we refer to strategic thinking as a cognitive process, we are emphasizing the mental activities involved in formulating strategies. This is to say, strategic thinking is a way of approaching problems or situations where individuals assess their environment, consider various approaches, forecast outcomes, and make decisions that will enable them to achieve specific goals. It is definitely an inherent, future oriented process that often involves considerations of risk, resources, timelines, and contingencies. Here is a breakdown of strategic thinking as a cognitive process. 1. Analysis and synthesis. Strategic thinking involves breaking a problem down into its components, and this is the analysis, and then integrating different pieces of information and perspectives to form a cohesive whole, and this is the synthesis. Problem solving. Number 2. Individuals leverage logical reasoning, creativity, and evaluation to identify solutions to complex issues and make informed decisions. Number 3, future forecasting, which necessitates projecting into the future, anticipating outcomes, and considering potential developments and their implications. Number 4, planning and organizing, developing structured plans, setting goals, and organizing resources and actions effectively are essential aspects of strategic thinking. 5. Risk assessment, evaluating uncertainties, estimating impacts, and deciding on the acceptable level of risk and crucial components in the formulation of strategy. Number 6. Learning and adaptation, continuous learning from experiences and adapting strategies based on new information or changing circumstances in the environment is integral to strategic thinking. And finally, number 7, reflection. It involves self awareness, reviewing one's thought processes, assumptions, and decisions, and refining then the strategies based on insights gained. Now let's dig deeper to understand why strategic thinking is specifically important for medical affairs colleagues working in the pharmaceutical industry. Medical affairs manager play a pivotal role in the medical affairs department as they are responsible for ensuring the alignment of medical strategies with the overall corporate goals and developing and applying strategic thinking skills. Also, medical affairs managers can lead their teams to effectively address healthcare challenges, drive scientific innovation, address unmet patient needs, and enhance patient outcomes. In the following slides, we will share further details about the importance of strategic thinking for medical affairs colleagues who are working in the pharmaceutical industry. Before starting, let me remind you to read the details in your modules. So, as mentioned earlier, strategic thinking is critical for medical affairs to ensure alignment of their goals with the overall organizational strategies, and also to enable them lead the organization to make informed decisions and address unmet medical needs. But actually, the benefits of strategic thinking to medical colleagues are not just limited to this, but can be extended to include helping medical affairs to have proactive decision-making process, helping medical colleagues to optimize their resources correctly, and also it helps them to enhance collaboration with cross-functional teams. In addition to this, strategic thinking can help medical affairs colleagues to quickly adapt to the changing environment in healthcare industry, and definitely to help them strengthen their internal and external stakeholder relationships. So, this is a summary of the benefits of strategic thinking for medical colleagues. And if we dig deeper, we will understand why everything should start in medical affairs with a very good strategic thinking and planning process. Generally, strategic thinking has 7 key elements. 1. Long term vision and mission alignment. 2. Environmental scanning and assessing industry trend. 3. Identifying internal strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is the SWOT analysis. Number 4. Setting clear and achievable objectives. Number 5. Emphasizing a patient centric approach. Number 6. Leveraging collaborative partnerships. And finally, number 7. Adapting to dynamic changes and opportunities. Please read the details of each key element in your course materials and make yourself familiar with the applications of these elements in medical affairs. These 7 key elements of strategic thinking provide medical affairs managers with a structured approach to formulate and execute medical strategies that can drive long-term success. And by incorporating patient-centered approach, leveraging collaborative partnerships, and continuously scanning the external environment, medical affairs managers can definitely develop impactful initiatives that positively impact patient outcomes and contribute to position themselves as leaders in the healthcare industry. Strategic thinking involves adapting different approaches and methodologies to analyze complex situations, formulate effective strategies, and make informed decisions. There are 4 key approaches to strategic thinking that medical affairs managers can employ to enhance their decision-making processes. These approaches may be new to some medical colleagues, and so we need to be very familiar with them. 1. Systems thinking. 2. Scenario planning. 3. Blue ocean strategy. And 4. Design thinking. Let's understand each of these 4 approaches and try to make them as simple as we can. The first approach is systems thinking, and this means understanding the interconnectedness of various components. Systems thinking is a holistic approach that focuses on understanding the interrelationships and interdependencies among various components within a complex system. In the context of medical affairs, systems thinking requires medical affairs managers to view their department as a dynamic system with multiple interconnected elements, such as, for example, research and development, medical education, medical information, patient engagement teams, and regulatory and compliance teams as well. By recognizing the interplay of these elements, medical affairs managers can identify leverage points, and design interventions that have a broader impact on the organization and patient outcomes and approaches. The second approach is scenario planning, which is preparing for alternative future possibilities. Scenario planning involves envisioning and planning for multiple alternative future scenarios, options, and uncertainties. For medical affairs managers, they can use this approach to anticipate and prepare for various potential outcomes that may arise in the healthcare landscape. By considering differences in areas, managers can develop a specific response to changing circumstances. Scenario planning empowers medical affairs teams to be more resilient and responsive in uncertain and volatile environments. The third approach is the blue ocean strategy, which is creating a new market or a new market space and new opportunities. The blue ocean strategy is a concept that focuses on creating new markets, new market space, rather than competing in existing market segments. I think the medical affairs teams are in a very good position to approach the strategies in this way. In the context of medical affairs management, medical affairs colleagues can explore innovative approaches, programs, and partnerships that address unmet medical needs and create new opportunities. By doing so, they can gain a more competitive advantage by differentiating their medical initiatives across the industry. This approach fosters innovative and allow medical affairs teams to explore untapped potential in the healthcare environment. The fourth approach, which is the final one, is design thinking. Design thinking is a human-centered approach that emphasizes understanding needs, preferences, and experiences of an end user. Of course, when we talk about medical affairs, the end user here will be the patient. So for medical affairs managers, they can apply design thinking principles to develop a patient-centric program or a patient-centric approach, including patient support programs, educational activities, and others. By utilizing this approach, medical affairs managers can emphasize with patient organizations, healthcare professionals, and caregivers. Medical affairs managers can create solutions that address unmet patient needs, real world challenges, and enhance patient outcomes. And here we can conclude our session for today. We discussed the key elements as well as the four key approaches for strategic thinking, and how medical affairs teams can apply these elements and approaches while planning and developing medical strategies. Analyzing complex situations is a crucial aspect of strategic thinking. Medical managers must identify critical factors, evaluate risks and opportunities, and utilize data-driven insights to make informed decisions. So there are three main components here. One, identify critical factors and variables in complex scenarios. Two, evaluating risks and opportunities. Three, using data-driven insights to inform the strategy and the strategic choices. First, how can medical affairs managers identify critical factors and variables in complex medical affairs scenarios? This includes several factors. The first is the scientific advances, and medical affairs managers must be the subject matter experts, each in his or her therapeutic area. This includes assessing the latest scientific developments, medical breakthroughs, emerging therapies that may impact the medical affairs, identifying opportunities to leverage cutting edge research for the benefit of patients and medical strategies. Number two, regulatory environment. Also, medical affairs teams must be experts in regulatory environment, must be understanding the evolving regulatory landscape and compliance requirements, and always ensuring that medical affairs initiatives adhere to relevant regulations and guidelines while maintaining patient safety and ethical standards. Number three, market dynamics. Analyzing market trends, patient needs, competitor activities, market access opportunities, and also understanding how these factors altogether shape the commercialization and uptake of medical products and patient support programs. These are very important insights to share with the cross-functional teams. 4. Patient insights. Gaining sorry, gaining deep insights into patient perspectives, unmet medical needs, and patient journeys, and also utilizing a patient-centric approach, a patient-centric data to design tailored medical programs that enhance patient outcomes and experiences. 5. Stakeholder engagement and identifying key stakeholders such as healthcare professionals, patient advocacy groups, and regulatory bodies, engaging in meaningful interactions to gain insights, build collaborations and partnerships, and align medical strategies with stakeholder needs. So, these are the five ways by which medical affairs colleagues can identify critical factors in the environment and assess variables in a complex medical affairs scenario. Evaluating risks and opportunities in decision making is the second important component to analyze a complex situation. In complex medical affairs scenarios, medical affairs manager must conduct risk assessment and opportunity evaluations to make informed decisions. This involves four important aspects. The first is risk identification, identifying potential risks, challenges, and uncertainties that may arise during the implementation of medical affairs initiatives, and also considering factors that could hinder the success of a project or impact patient safety. The second aspect here is risk mitigation strategies. Developing these strategies to mitigate identified risks and minimize their impact is very important. Also, putting together plans to respond effectively to any unexpected challenges is crucial. The third aspect is opportunity assessment, evaluating potential opportunities and the advantages associated with medical initiatives, assessing the potential positive impact on patient outcomes, brand reputation, and organizational success. Finally, cost benefit analysis, weighing the costs and benefit of each medical initiative and each medical activity, ensuring that resource allocation is proportional to the potential value and impact of this initiative. The third component for analyzing complex situations is using data driven insights to inform strategic choices. So, how can we do that? Data driven insights play a pivotal role in strategic decision making for medical affairs. Utilizing data analytics and evidence based information allows managers to evaluate performance, measure the effectiveness of past medical initiatives to determine areas of success and areas for improvement. 2. Identify trends. Analyze trends in patient data, medical research, and market dynamics to identify opportunities and also challenges. 3. Predict outcomes. Use predictive analytics to anticipate potential outcomes and make informed projections for medical affairs strategies. Inform resource allocation. Use data to allocate resources effectively, ensuring that investments are aligned with strategic priorities and are more likely to deliver optimal results. And finally, support evidence based decisions. These decisions that are based on reliable data and scientific evidence. This will enhance the credibility and impact of medical affairs initiatives. Now, let's shift gears and talk about decision making for strategic execution. Effective decision making is essential for medical affairs. Medical affairs managers must strike a balance between short term tactics and long term vision. They must prioritize initiatives and allocate resources wisely and consider ethical and compliance aspects in their decision making. Here are the three key components of decision making for strategic execution. Let's take them one by one. First, balancing short term tactics and long term vision. Medical affairs managers must navigate the tension between short term tactics and long term vision to ensure that those immediate needs and future objectives are both addressed. Well, how this can be done? 1. Setting clear objectives. Define short term objectives that are aligned with medical affairs team long term vision. Ensure that these objectives contribute directly to the overall organizational goals. 2. Alignment with corporate strategy. Ensure that the short term tactics support the strategic direction and priorities. Verify that the chosen tactics are aligned with the company's broader vision and values. 3. Flexibility and adaptability. Remain open to adjusting short term tactics in response to changing circumstances without compromising on long term vision. So, being flexible and adaptable allows the medical teams to seize opportunities and overcome challenges effectively. The second component of decision making for strategic execution is prioritizing initiatives and allocating resources effectively. Given limited resources, medical managers must prioritize initiatives based on their alignment and strategic impact. This can be done via four ways. 1. Weigh each initiative's relevance to the medical affairs long term vision and objectives. Prioritize these initiatives that are directly contributing to the mission and patient centered goals. 2. Resource assessment. Conduct an assessment of available resources, including budget, personnel, and time. Allocate resources to ensure that initiatives with the highest potential for success receive adequate support. 3. Cost benefit analysis. Perform a cost benefit analysis for various initiatives to ensure creating value and alignment with the organization overall strategies. Finally, risk management. Consider the potential risks associated with each initiative and the impact of these risks on execution. Develop risk mitigation strategies as needed. The third component of decision making for strategic execution is considering ethical and compliance aspects in decision making. Medical affairs managers must make decisions that align with ethical principles and comply with the industry regulations. This involves five important points. One, ethical standards. Ensure that all medical initiatives adhere to ethical standards protecting patient safety, privacy, and confidentiality. Two, regulatory compliance or local regulations. Comply with all relevant laws and regulations, including those related to clinical trials, data reporting, and promotional activities. 3. Patient centered approach. Adopt a patient centered approach and focus your initiatives on patient care, education, and support. 4. Transparent communication. Foster open and transparent communication with stakeholders, ensuring that decisions are made with integrity and shared values. 5. Compliance monitoring. Implement mechanisms to monitor compliance with ethical and regulatory requirements, conduct audits, ensure adherence to ethical guidelines and industry standards. We will discuss the practical aspects, focusing on how to seamlessly integrate the elements and approaches of strategic thinking that we learned so far into our everyday professional activities. It's about bridging the gap between theory and practice, ensuring that the knowledge acquired in this course is not just retained but is effectively utilized to navigate the complex landscape of medical affairs. It's about leveraging strategic thinking to make informed decisions, optimize our approaches, and enhance the impact of our work in the medical field. So, let's talk about strategic planning and execution. Strategic planning and execution are very important aspects for medical affairs. In order to deliver the medical initiatives effectively, create value for their organizations, and improve patients' outcomes. There are three steps or components for the strategic planning and execution. 1. Creating a medical roadmap. 2. Engaging with cross-functional teams. 3. Monitoring the progress. 3 very clear and simple steps. Create a medical roadmap, engage with cross-functional teams, and monitor the progress. So, how can we create a medical roadmap? Creating a medical roadmap for medical affairs initiatives can be done in 5 important steps. 1. Defining objectives. Start by clearly defining the objectives of the medical affairs department. These objectives should be aligned with the overall mission and vision of the organization and should reflect the long-term goals of this organization. 2. Assessing the environment. Conduct a deep environmental analysis, including market trends, patient needs, regulatory changes, and competitive landscape. This assessment provides insights into opportunities and challenges that can shape the strategic roadmap. 3. Setting priorities. Identify and prioritize medical affairs initiatives based on the strategic importance and the potential impact. Focus on initiatives that directly contribute to patient-centered strategies and can address unmet medical needs. 4. Resource allocation. Allocate resources effectively, including budget, personnel, and time, to support the execution of medical affairs initiatives. Ensure that resources are aligned with the strategic priorities and allocated in proportion to the maximum impact. 5. Develop action plans. Create detailed action plans for each initiative, outlining the specific steps, timelines, responsible parties, and key performance indicators for monitoring the progress. So here we start by defining clear objectives, assessing the environment around us, setting priorities, and then resource allocations. Once all the four steps are done, we come to the final step here, which is putting action plans with timelines. The second component of strategic planning and execution is engaging cross-functional teams in strategic execution. This includes four initiatives. 1. Adopt a collaborative approach. Foster a collaborative approach and inclusive culture that encourages cross-functional collaboration among different teams such as research and development, medical information, commercial, marketing, and regulatory affairs. Involve all the stakeholders early in the strategic planning process. Share perspectives and ensure alignment. 2. A shared vision. Communicate the medical roadmap and vision to all relevant teams and stakeholders to ensure that everyone understands their roles and responsibilities in the execution phase of medical initiatives. 3. Empowering teams. Taking the ownership of the team's respective initiatives, provide the necessary resources and support, and enable the cross functional teams to execute effectively. 4. Regular communication. Always maintain open and regular communication. Provide the communication channels with cross functional teams to facilitate progress, updates, address challenges, and celebrate success. And the last component of strategic planning and execution is monitoring progress and adapting strategies as needed. This includes 1. Data driven approach. Utilize data and key performance indicators to monitor the progress and impact of medical initiatives, and regularly assess performance against established targets. 2. Continuous evaluation. Conduct periodic reviews to evaluate the strategic roadmap and the effectiveness of medical affairs initiatives. Identify areas for improvement and opportunities for optimization. 3. Agility and adaptability. To be prepared to adapt strategies and action plans based on changing circumstances, market dynamics, and stakeholders' feedback. This brings us to the end of this lecture. Thank you very much for your time and see you soon.